Hello. Hi, DK. Hi, Fears. We are live both on Twitch and YouTube, so go check us out there. We'll be on soon. Nice. Hello. Alright. Guys already tired. Expanded camera view unlocked. Yeah. How's the sound? Do we need to get closer to the mic or is everything good? Let me lower the music. Is the sound okay? Talk on your side, Wes?
Yup. Testing.
How's that? Is that working for you guys?
Music too loud. Oh yeah.
There. I lowered it. Is it good? Okay, I can hear myself echo in the living room, so it must be working. Alright. We're live. We're doing an in-person podcast. Come and join us. Tonight, we're going to be talking about what is the core of your joy. Bro, freak you and your ass. Maybe if you sub to me, that's good. I'm just kidding.
If you sub, you don't need it.
Okay.
You won't see no ads.
It's so funny. Oh, can you close the door so that way we don't hear the echo?
Welcome to our OnlyFans.
Whoa! Can you change the gate on your mic so you guys are louder? Okay. Well, I thought that was loud already. I thought it was good enough. Let me change the gate. Hold on. Well, here, I'm turning it down now. I'm turning down the song. Give us a few. Whoa, that's what happens with the doors closed. Oh my gosh, we got trolls up in our chat today. Tagging.
It's my fault.
We're just getting ready for our podcast. Give us a minute. Oh, yeah, you're right. It's not like sharing it.
Why is yours not a valid URL? That's your URL though. But it's saying not valid URL.
Twitch.tv.
Twitch.tv/Cyber5.
It should be.
Yeah.
Did I get hacked?
Oh, there we go.
Bess and I always in bed. Oh jeez. Is this emote? Alright. Did you get the mention? On transparency?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. Sorry guys, give us a minute. Technical difficulties. Doing some promos on
Bess and I always in bed together. Can you lower the mic a bit?
Can you lower it's
So it's angled towards or your mouth's better, please.
So it's angled towards your mouth. Oh. So raise it then, not lower it.
Like this?
Oh. She meant like this. Like here, let me see. Like facing us.
Well, it's kind of centered.
Yeah. Clipped. Oh my gosh. Everybody clipping. We're getting trolled.
You can't tilt it more. Shake my head ads. Dang, you're not even subbed. That's crazy.
Oh, ads. Okay, hold on. Actually, I'll do it like this. Live now for transparency.
Can't be me with ads. How does this work, dude? How is this so, like, movable?
I don't know. Can you raise it?
I don't know if yeah?
No,
But
I meant, can you raise the chair also?
Oh, the chair?
You should be able to raise it.
Nope.
Because she's super short.
There we go.
Yeah.
Jerry's living his best life. Can't be me with ads. Clipped again. Semi best, but all good.
Can't be me with ads. The subs. It looks like this is the time for you guys to start subbing on my.
I missed it because of ads.
Alright. Wow, this is great. This is awesome. This is what the podcast should always be like, man. It's okay. One day we'll get there. We'll get to this space where we can do more in-person podcasts. Let me see.
I don't know if we can angle it really. I think we just need to talk like a little bit, just louder.
Tighten it too much. Can you untie loosen it a little bit? Yeah, there you go. And then let me fix this. Let me raise it.
I got a fresh pump today at the gym.
Oh! No, I just it's how it's supposed to be here. Hold this. There you go. And then go like that. We're having
so weird on camera. Like you were adjusting down here. You were like
sus angle. There you go.
Sus ass angle. Damn, y'all working that stick together.
Hell yeah. All right. Oh, actually, let me do one more thing.
Another one?
Yeah, it's one more thing. Just keep.
Y'all working that stick together.
Oh, there you go. We got okay. Stats. All right, welcome everybody.
Poll.
Paul. If it's too worrisome for you guys on Twitch, because of the ads, feel free to just jump in on YouTube. We have it on YouTube as well. It's live on YouTube, and there are no ads on YouTube. So if that's more helpful for you guys, please definitely go there, and we'd be happy to have it there with you guys. But let me you guys finally get to see like a wide angle of the studio setup. Love the Sunny Angels. Yeah. I love how you could even see the Sunny Angels all the way from there. That's kind of sus. All right, you creep.
What's the Sunny Angels?
Those little tiny little. That's what I'm saying. It's creep over here. Like, chat. How many Sunny Angels can you count? Oh my god.
What do those even do? Like, what are they?
It's just like little collectibles. They're like those gotcha freaking boxes where it's like a mystery box. So they have a different character for each
Keep
box.
that shit away from Diddy, dude.
That's
Keep it away from Diddy and the baby
for
oil.
real.
I'm sure they could use some baby oil, but
Yeah.
you know they're actual babies.
But this is my setup. My cameras, all my camera stuff, all the collectibles, collector's items, my Funko Pops, Sunny Angels, different things. My Blackpink hammer.
How'd you get that light though? I just saw that for the first time. It's
Which
like
one?
hidden behind the column.
Oh, this? I forgot to turn this on. There you go.
It actually like moves.
Which one?
Like the actual light itself. It's
Oh,
like,
this?
No, in there.
Oh, this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It actually like moves.
I actually got that from my old job.
That's sick.
Yeah, I took that from my old job, but all right. Thank you guys for being here. Welcome to Transparency Thursdays. That Polaroid. Whoa, thanks for the follow. Wow, Cake Biscuits. Hello, thank you for the follow. We're probably gonna hear that chime for a little bit. That Polaroid camera, yeah, man. Now you're seeing a little bit more stuff. Got some Polaroid. We got a lot of film cameras. We have
Pentax.
yeah, a lot of rare cameras for sure that I've been collecting for quite some time, which I actually found when I was still living in LA. But tonight, welcome to our podcast. If you haven't, I'm not sponsored by Netflix. We're not being paid by anybody. It's not a promo ad or whatever. If you haven't seen the show, Nobody Wants This. You guys should definitely watch that show. It's a really great show. Just random promo about the show. It's really interesting because they have a podcast. Like the main character has a podcast there. But welcome to our podcast. This is what we call our Transparency Thursday podcast. On our podcast every Thursday, it's just an opportunity for Wes and I and any of our guests that do come in, including like Fierce and any of our other friends that do join us from time to time, to be able to just share our own thoughts. They are always unfiltered, uncensored, thoughts that we share from different opposing opinions. Sometimes, we'll have topics that are trending within pop culture. Sometimes they may be topics like what we are having today. It's an opportunity for us to kind of give you a background of who we are. And at the same time, an opportunity for us to share. Oh, thank you for the subs, the gifted subs. Wow, that's awesome.
That's your sound for subs
Yeah.
and follows.
Yeah.
It sounds like a ringing phone.
Yeah, the whole idea is just to wake me up, just to actually keep me like, oh my god, there's something happening. But today our topic is going to be about what is the core of your joy, and really, how do you define happiness in your own personal life, and that is not only just for us, but for you, our audience listening to our podcast today. We always do this podcast every Thursday, and it is always live streamed. So that way, our audience can always enjoy sharing their own thoughts too, right as we're having these conversations, rather than having a pre-recorded video and then sharing your comments and feedback afterwards. So today, we'll be able to share a little bit about ourselves based off of our core of our joy, or what joy means to us, or what happiness means to us. But at the same time, to kind of just give thanks to the new, viewers, my new subscribers and followers from both Twitch and YouTube. As my birthday week is going on, this week is actually in a couple of days is going to be my birthday. So I thought we had this conversation that I had this conversation with Wes where we thought I think this topic would really be relative to what's happening this week. Not only for myself, but even for Wes and what's been happening with his life. So that's why we wanted to have this opportunity to share this moment with you guys. So first of all, just want to say thank you so much for all of the new followers, new subscribers, and even to the old ones that have been following us and listening to our podcast every Thursday. And if you are here from my streaming, from the gaming that I've been doing, and the ranking like crazy on Valorant, I appreciate you guys for chiming in and listening to us. But let's get it started, man. Yeah, man. I want to go straight to you first. Actually, I know there's gonna be a lot to share, talk about. We will try to cut this off by 9 p.m. Pacific time. So if the conversation goes really well and there is a lot of people that are sharing their thoughts as well too, please share anything that you guys have in mind or as we're going through the topic, and don't hesitate to even like give us any feedback as we're going through these conversations. But Wes, how do you define your joy, or like what is the core of your type of happiness that you go through, and while explaining a little bit more about your background and how we're here, how we got this whole thing started.
So first off, I think I should define like joy and happiness. There are two very different things. I think that joy comes from actually wanting to do something, versus happiness is the emotions that come along with doing that action. Joy is like I am excited. I feel like I really want to do this. Um, it could be for someone. It could be for yourself. Like I would say, joy. There's joy definitely in playing video games, right? It's an action that you're actually choosing to do. I would say there's a joy in traveling, right? There's a joy in seeing family members. Um, Sometimes there's even a joy in like literally just taking a night drive.
Yep. Oh
Like
yeah.
just night drive. Also, by the way, if you want, go look up Last Century. Last Century? Yeah, Last Century. They're like the best night driving music ever. If you just need to like go drive, just listen to Last Century also.
Is that
Um
like lo-fi, or like what genre of music that is that?
it's like you know how like Tokyo Drift has like that
Oh,
bassy sound,
like a house
but
kind of
there's
music. Yeah.
no there's it's like hip hop but like house mixed together, but like there's no real lyrics.
Okay.
It's just like a do 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 do
Yeah,
do 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 do, like it's just really chill.
that's cool.
Um, but yeah, I would say that that's what joy is for me. Happiness though, happiness is. Hmm, I think I think that's something that like
Oh,
I,
like Initial D. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I love
yes,
that
like
game.
initial D. Um, I think happiness is something that like I struggle with honestly. Like I'm not happy specific. I get happy with my dog, but I also get disappointed with my dog. But I mean like I get happy to see my dog. I get happy to get off of work. I get happy to like wake up every single day. But in terms of like, or to even like see my girlfriend. But like in terms of like my everyday happiness, I don't know. Like I feel like I'm not content. I don't think I will ever really truly be content. And I think that like affects whether I'm happy or not.
Well, that's really interesting. Well, why do you think you don't feel that kind of that like being content about something? Like what is something that you think will make you feel content about your life? Is it life in general that you don't feel content with, or is it like not knowing truly what that happiness or that joy is that you're seeking for?
I think solidification would bring me like a lot of like happiness, because there's like so many like unknowns, like especially like when you're like in a relationship or you get a new job, or even you're like in a job but like the market is like it's crazy, there's like layoffs to happen and stuff like that, budget cuts, cost cuttings and everything like that. You don't know for sure if your job is going to be expendable. Same goes with like your relationship. So I think solidification and like the end of the day, like finding that one person that like really makes you feel happiness is I think, and then having the solidification of obviously like marriage someday.
Okay. Oh, so you're saying like because like all these other factors in your life will never have like a place of like like an ultimatum, like a final step, like having a job. You never know. Like it's never sure, right? And especially in like in what's happening in this economy, so many things, so many people are getting laid off left and right. So many people are struggling to even find jobs. So in that space, you kind of like find that like that acceptance. You've just kind of allowed like, okay, yeah, I know in this space in my life, I know I'm not gonna find true happiness in there, but I know what will make me happy is like having that solid like place where I can settle down and know that this is my forever place. And in that situation, how you define it is like that relationship with a significant other, knowing that like yes, this is the place, this is our end goal. We want to be in that final step of like marriage and stability. Actually, yes, like what our chat was saying, like stability, just having that stability in a relationship is what you define as like happiness for you, but you don't really care about stability in other spaces because you know that things can change everywhere else, but at least with the relationship you feel like that's something that you can control in your life.
Right. And I think like with the job and everything like that, like jobs is like for me it's like a survival instinct. Like
Okay.
I think growing up, like my dad was always like very stingy with money, but he was also kind of like a workaholic. He would get home at like 7, 8 o'clock at night, which is now ironic because I get home around that time.
Yeah.
But I have like a 12-hour shift, so it's a little bit different. But he owned a company. He doesn't technically need to be there, but he's kind of like a micromanager. So he wanted to be there. And then also it's kind of an escape away from home because our home wasn't necessarily like the relationship between my parents wasn't the best. So I think that he would try and avoid being at home as much as possible.
Interesting.
But that also like affects like the relationship between him and obviously all of his kids. And I mean, I think because of that, his work ethic, ironically, is like instilled into me because he's like, no matter what, like the bills are not going to pay for themselves.
Yeah.
Right. You can get laid off from a job. You can, the market could all of a sudden just completely disappear. Maybe your business falls through altogether. You just have to keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing. So it's like a job for me isn't necessarily like, I would like it to be like, I truly love this job and I truly am loving passionately like what I do. But at the end of the day, it's still like a survival that's like a necessity more than like I want to go to work.
Okay. Well, how about this space? Like, let's bring it to like the space that we're in today. Like what we're doing, having this transparency podcast. It's a little crazy. A little background about my relationship. We kind of let's tie it in with relationships. As how Wes is, sharing that relationship is the foundation of stability that he wants to be able to truly define happiness for his life. But let's bring it to the relationship that he and I have in terms of like the friendship and camaraderie that we have and partnership in this podcast that we're doing. I had met Wes back in college when I was about 9 years ago. Around the time I was joining a fraternity in college. Wes wasn't involved in the fraternity.
I wasn't involved in college. I was like freshly graduated high school. I was underage.
The funny part was this kid was 18, 19? 18 years old, and I had met him through a party with our mutual friend, like from our mutual friends.
You weren't even supposed to be there too, you said?
I actually technically wasn't even supposed to be there because I was like dry pledging for my fraternity, so meaning I wasn't allowed to like party and drink and do all that stuff. But secretly I was there at an event. I wasn't partying. I was more of like the DD there, and I was like trying to make sure everybody's cool and chill. That's just how I usually am. But I met this guy, I think I was like 21 years old or something, 22 maybe. And this was towards like the end of my college term. And I remember it was more of like an acquaintance thing, like, oh, cool, like you're a good person, you seem chill, like seem like you're having fun with everybody. Yeah, yeah, like I'll find you on Instagram and we'll like connect there or something. And then that's how it was. So for years on, it was more like Wes was always kind of supporting all of the work that I was doing. I was already heavily involved in the entertainment industry at that time, and then I was transitioning also moving to Los Angeles to continue pursuing my career in film production.
You know what's funny too is that when you moved, I was looking at your Instagram. I remember back, and I was like, "Damn, he's moving away." Cause like something that we connected on when we first met each other was like, "Oh, you do like film stuff." Like,
Photography,
"Oh,
yeah,
like I
yeah.
do like photography too."
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, we should connect or something like that." So like I think that's why we shared each other's Instagrams.
I think I had my camera with me actually at the party.
Yeah.
I just tend to always carry my cameras with me. I just love capturing moments, whether it be a
Do
special
you have
event.
photos from that?
I think I might. I might. Yeah, I remember
That
that.
would be
Yeah, I think I
crazy.
have photos from that party. I obviously never posted it because I wasn't allowed to be there. Um,
It's
but
over. It's over.
yeah, but it's over. I can post it now. I can pull it up on my archives. But yeah, we connected through like photography, and that was like the thing, and that's why he was like, "Oh, dude, like I'd love to see like your work and stuff." And it's like, "Yeah, bro, likewise. Like let's connect, and maybe we could collaborate sometime too." And I could show you the ropes because at that time too, Instagram was like just getting really popular. And what I mean by like really popular in a space where like how TikTok is now. Like TikTok technically still is very brand new, but Instagram at that time was like people were blowing up in terms of like becoming insta famous. Like that was
Mhm.
a thing. And not only that, like the 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 events that happened involving Instagram, especially in the area that we were living in, I was partnering with different photographers along with the social media manager of Instagram. So we were hosting events like in San Francisco where we would have photo walks and different contests where you win prizes and stuff. And so I was sharing that with Wes and I was like, yeah, yeah, we do all these stuff. Maybe you can stop by too and like I'll invite you to some of the photo walks. It'd be really a great place for you to learn more with photography and you get to connect with like-minded people.
I remember that.
But then it just so happened, like literally the year after, I moved to LA. But from that time, it was crazy because I had actually lost contact with Wes. But I did always notice that he was very supportive all of like of the things I was posting. I would post like my stories about like what I was doing in the entertainment industry, the acting career that I was involved in temporarily, the production work I was doing when I was working on projects, or even just random things that I was doing in LA.
The
So he-
food.
yeah, the food that I would always post.
It was like there was a good amount of like architecture pictures too.
Yeah, yeah, and it was always a lot of the stuff that I like to post, and especially like I love to cook, so I would like cook for my friends, especially in the household I was in.
Yeah.
I would always share like my food photography, along with the stuff that I would cook for my friends. So I always noticed that Wes was always just like there, like he was a good acquaintance, as I would truthfully would call it. And then he and I would message from time to time, and I would say like, "Yo, like thanks for the support, man. Like I appreciate it." And he's like, "Yeah, just wishing you well, and I hope you're doing well." Wes would always pull those things. And then when I had moved back, in the area, I started this whole streaming career. I decided to quit my jobs in LA. I was working in the tech industry also. I was, in camera engineering, but also working as a film producer. After that time of my experiences in LA, and this was, 8 years later, I come back and I start getting into my streaming career. I wanted to become a full time creator, and I told myself that this was going to be a space I wanted to pursue. But there was a piece of it that I wanted to add in, which was this podcast. So before this was a Transparency Thursday podcast, I used to call it Transparency Tuesdays. And these were scheduled on Tuesdays because that's when my work availability, like that's when I had a day off or I was free to get on at nighttime to just talk, share my thoughts, talk about pop culture, things that are happening in the streaming community, so people could be more involved and be well versed. Especially in my environment in my community at the time, they weren't really heavily involved in streaming or content creation, but they wanted to understand the background of why I wanted to be in this space. So I started talking about that in my Transparency Tuesdays. And then Wes just came in out of nowhere. He was like, "Hey man, I'd love to like participate in your podcast. Maybe I could even like share my thoughts or be a guest or something. And so I had him actually come in. I think it was like the fourth episode, third or fourth episode. He came in and he shared. We were having a conversation. I think about like um,
Relationships.
relationships, but it was actually about like stories about like long term or short term relationships and like what like how we feel about. Oh, it was more actually. It was about friendship. I wanted it to be a topic about friendship, and it just so happened that we started talking deeper about like even our partners, like our relationships with our exes or people that we like decided to like have a relationship with. And I wanted the topic to be about friendship because it was that I was creating this friendship, or more so, rekindling the friendship that I had with Wes. Years had gone by. Obviously, he had grown older. I'm already too old too. Hi, Lorme. Nice to see you. Yeah, we're doing another in person podcast. But at that time, we started talking about friendships, and I was just thinking to myself, man, like this guy, he's really good. Like he speaks fluidly. He knows how to really share the right thoughts. And there were things that he was sharing that I was actually against, or like not necessarily against, but like had just a different opinion about. So I was bantering with him. I was kind of like poking, picking on him and like poking him a little bit. And like is that really like the kind of friendships you want to be surrounded with, or like, or the relationships that you wanted to commit to? Like, why were you in those kind of committed relationships when you know that it was really difficult to even like find like a compromise? You know, um, so it was just really interesting that we had like those banters that were going on, and I thought, I want this. Like, I think this is the kind of shtick I wanted in the podcast. So I just invited him. Like, hey, bro, you want to do like two Transparency Tuesdays with me, like every Tuesday? And then he said, yeah, man, whenever I can get on or if I'm free, I'd be happy to like join. Um,
I think a couple episodes later down the road is when it was like, if you want me like 100%, let's do Thursdays.
yeah,
And then I can like just dedicate like the time to it because it's an off day for me.
yeah. And then I said, you know what? Say less. Like, no worries. I can adjust my schedule easily, so I'm willing to do that. As long as we can commit to the 100%, like just doing this every Thursdays. And then lo and behold, like 21 episodes in now, that's 21 weeks later. Because we only do this once a week. So 21 weeks later, here we are doing our in-person podcast. Yes, we still do our like on the air podcast through Discord. Hi, Trixiel. Thank you for stopping by. Really, we always really appreciate you. Just coming in here. Tonight's topic, as I was mentioning, is about defining happiness in your life and what is like the core of your joy. And so we wanted to share a little bit about our background, how we got here, who we are, and what we're doing, because it really ties into like even my birthday week. This is just a moment for me to really reflect on things that I really am grateful for. And that's the piece that I wanted to come back to. That the camaraderie and the friendship that I rebuilt with Wes created this space for us to have this podcast. And if it weren't for Wes's partnership with me on this podcast, honestly, I'd just be yapping by myself. Like, you guys would just be listening to me, and honestly, I don't know if there would be that. Maybe it's my self-deprecation or like imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah, imposter syndrome setting in, telling myself like maybe people won't want to listen to me. But it's always nice to have two thoughts or like two voices, or more, which was great. This is what we had actually. There are a few people that are on the stream right now watching us that have been with us and have been sharing their thoughts and on the mic with us too. But they have their own personal things that they need to take care of, and that's why Wes and I have always just been the co-host and co-partnership to this podcast. But that's it. Like with this birthday week, this was a good opportunity for me to share like even what happiness is to me. Um, because like things like this, I've always lived my life with the idea that I wanted to be an artist the rest of my life. There was never any doubt for me or any consideration to even think about any other career choices or any other career fields. Yes, I was in a space where I was a camera engineer, but to be honest, that was also like completely like random. It was something that like the company had reached out to me and said, "You're definitely someone we need." And I told them, I had actually even asked them, "Have you read my resume?" Like, have you actually really thoroughly read my resume? I have no lick of experience in engineering. But then after I got into it, I realized that there was a lot more that I knew than I thought.
Did they see your photography work?
Yeah,
Separately?
they saw well, here's the thing. So with that company, they actually I was my photo work was published with them. So I'm just gonna say what company it was. I worked for Apple. Um, Actually, I don't even know if I was allowed to. No, I mean, there's no conflict.
I'm pretty sure it's fine.
Yeah, there's no conflict of interest at this point now. But
Yeah.
back in 2014, 2015, I think, when the iPhone 6 came out, there was a campaign called Shot on iPhone. And it was really finally promoting like what the camera on iPhones can really do. And there was a contest that the internal employees got to experience and be involved with along with people outside, like externally. It was a Shot on iPhone campaign that we were able to participate in, and it just so happened that out of I think it was 2,500 participants, they only chose 3 winners to be able to be published and have their photographs be posted all over billboards in different parts of the U.S. And out of the 3 of the 2,500, I was one of the chosen ones. Um, and it was such an honor. It was a great experience. And this is I was already working for the company, but I was working with them temporarily. Like it was like part time while I was still focused on my film production in LA. And when that had happened, um, my career with photography and film just blew up even more because obviously like my work was being recognized not just by this company but all over billboards. My photo was a photo I submitted was it was a photo of me actually hanging off of a ledge in New York Times Square. And that photo was chosen to be put on the billboards in New York. So it was posted all over New York, and there were images of me on the ledge, shot on iPhone. And that's how my career kind of blew up and started with photography. And then with film and stuff,
Wait. What do you mean by hanging on a ledge?
well, like it was. I wasn't like literally like holding off,
Okay.
but it was more like I
this
say
is
like
promoting suicide.
yeah, no. I don't promote. I don't condone any of that. It was actually not like hanging like that. It's more like
You're sitting on a ledge.
I was sitting on a ledge. I say hanging because it's literally like we're like
You're not like
there.
this.
Yeah. I think if I could even show an image, I might be able to show the image later. But yeah, essentially that photo blew up and it was like going really well. And it was really interesting that I didn't think that anything else would come out of it with my career with Apple. And then years later, I had submitted my resume with the company to actually try to join their marketing team. But then the recruiter reached out to me and said, "I know a great place for you." And then they put me in an engineering team. And so I got an opportunity to be able to work with the hardware engineering for the camera team of Apple, and got to work on the amazing cameras that you guys are using now in your iPhones today. So that's sitting on a ledge. There you go. Let's say sitting on a ledge, not hanging off of a ledge, but my Filipino in me was like saying the wrong words. But that's how really like my career like kind of expanded through that space. And now like I'm in the space where I could just really just be in my own creative journey, and be in my creative space. And so I wanted to really bring it back to that. I wanted to find myself in a space where I can be happy doing what I want without being told what I should be doing with my creativity. Because even in the entertainment industry, it was very difficult. When I was working as a film producer, there were a lot of logistics and things that I had to sign, NDAs and contracts where I wasn't even told. I wasn't even actually show us the picture if you can. Okay, so I'm gonna pull it up. There were times where I would work in the industry for different companies that I even to this day I can't disclose just because some of the projects were never aired, but I still had a contract and I still got paid for those things. But
Are you still under NDA right now?
Yes, there's an NDA that I have that's an 8 year long contract. Like I'm not allowed to even say it until like if they even. There were some movies that you guys have seen already that Endgame. That was like really really amazing experiences that I got to slightly be a part of, but not everything entirely. Okay, so I'm gonna show it to you guys. So this was the photo where I was sitting on the ledge. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, this was on Times Square, New York Times Square, and I was sitting on a ledge, and this was shot on iPhone.
Dude, how the times have changed too, because like that type of picture would be so crystal clear even more.
Yeah. So what they did was, so Angela Ahrens was vice president of Apple at the time, and she signed a card. She not only wrote me a letter, well obviously it's probably like her like assistant or something that like formatted this, but she wrote me a letter and had it signed and said, Cyrus, thanks to people like you, the start something, shot on iPhone gallery was hosted over 2,500 unique and amazing pieces of art. Your work inspired so many of your teammates and fellow, artists that we wanted to recognize you. You are one, actually, so it was one out of 20 people that they had chosen out of the 25 who will be receiving prints of your piece to share with the family and friends. I hope you enjoy them, and thanks for participating in this gallery, and keep creating.
That's awesome.
So it was really cool. See, some of the people that are on the chat on YouTube remember the shot. Yeah, this was back in March of 2015. Another shot from New York Times Square, and you could literally see the view of Times Square. I had actually submitted this, but it was interesting that they liked the other photo than this one. So I actually wanted this shot to be the one that was used. Yeah. So I wanted that shot because I'm such a huge fan of DC. DC Comics is more of a thing for me than Marvel, to be honest. And I was really a big fan of the Red Arrow. Red Arrow's story in DC is so cool because he's like this rebel kid, like wasn't always like favored, and he was always misunderstood. But he was a cool like anti-hero, superhero type guy. And I wanted to reenact the Gotham City Red Arrow, like looking into Gotham City kind of thing. And I went to New York with my friends and we just had a photo shoot in a rooftop in Times Square. And I just want to say this now. I do not condone or promote like people going on rooftops in Times Square area in New York, because you could actually get arrested and have a felony record on your now.
Because there was definitely a trend.
Yeah.
It's like a whole entire group. They're like called like the skyscraper photographers. Yeah. And it's like it's a genre of photography.
And that was a thing that I was involved in. There were two groups. It was rooftopers or spelunkers. And spelunkers were photographers or filmmakers that were going underground in different big cities like New York, Chicago, San Francisco, Miami, even Texas. We were there were these different groups of photographers that were kind of like the rebel groups, like as you can say, that were finding different places around these cities where we can go rooftopping, like finding skyscrapers and really climbing them. And when we say we would climb it was like we would go on the edges of these buildings. We won't even like walk into the building.
They were fully made ones?
Yeah, like
it wasn't like the under construction ones?
Sometimes
that's a thing too. Like,
sometimes we would do I did the construction ones in San Francisco. And that was, I do not promote any of this or condone any of this stuff, because a lot of these things are actually very dangerous and now very illegal, and you could get that. It's like a federal crime.
Yeah.
If you were to do these things.
They do them. There was a time when they would do cranes.
Yeah,
they would climb the cranes just to get to that highest.
That was us. We literally we were on the news in San Francisco.
My fear of heights would take over.
I'm afraid of heights. That's the thing. So the funny thing about me is I'm afraid of heights, but I love rock climbing. Like I go bouldering and do all these things. But one of them was like rooftopping. Like we climbed cranes. The funny part, it was so easy for me to get to the top, but when it was time to go down, oh man, it took me 2.5 hours to get down that crane. And it was like we were being chased by like like by
Security guards.
security guards and stuff. Again,
We're gonna get you.
this was the past. I no longer do this. I don't want later down the road to get into trouble by this, but we no longer do any of this stuff. And again, it's a federal crime to do any of that stuff. The shot on iPhone 6 photo, actually, we got permission for this. This was specifically like actually a permitted photograph. So do not do this like illegally. I don't condone any of this stuff. So please, it wasn't me trying to promote this. But I'm just saying, like, these were the things that I was involved in at the time, which was about 8-9 years ago. That got me involved into this space. But my whole life, I've always wanted to be an artist. I never wanted to be anything else. The engineering space was just a blessing in disguise because it gave me more opportunities to really live my life as a full-time creative person. And now content creation has been a space for me where I can really dive in and do more. And so that's why...
Which one is
Yo, which one is
Cyrus?
Cyrus?
Dude, I'm telling you, dude. I talked about this. I was like, we need to coordinate our outfits because I was like thinking he's gonna wear his like Uniqlo like drop shirts.
The Airism drop down shirt.
Yeah,
shirt.
and then I was like, I got this. I never wear white. I'm gonna
It's
just wear
so
white.
funny. I said the same thing. I said, I think Wes is gonna wear something like one of the colored tees or something, or maybe like a black shirt. I'll wear white today because I don't really put on a white shirt. So it just so happened, man. Like this is, but here we are today. Like this is what we're doing. Like the podcast is a space that we really created together, and I continue to say that. And bringing it back to the topic, like what is the definition of happiness? To me, happiness is art. Like art is what makes me truly happy in life, and the best part about art is the collaboration and the camaraderie that you get to create with different people. The more you network, the more you collaborate with people, the more you get to see different people's like perspectives. You get to hear people's thoughts. You get to see them in full, like out of their own creativity. But even in this space like this, in a podcast, you get to hear people articulate why they love art so much, whether it be even topics that are twin telepathy. Yeah, yeah, like even in topics that maybe like let's say. I don't know what was like a topic like cultural differences. That's still very like artistic, like have an artistic perspective to it because different cultures have different outlook on what art is.
Yeah.
Graffiti to some people could be like vandalism, but to others, graffiti could be a piece of like beauty and a place of like creative freedom. Expression, self-expression. And so that to me again is the definition of my happiness. Now. The core of my joy, like, and I know Wes was saying this earlier. Being joyful and like knowing happiness are two different things, but to me, I think it's actually kind of the same, that intertwine with each other. For me to be joyful in life, I have to understand what my happiness is or what makes me happy. And so whenever I remind myself of the art that I go through, despite how challenging sometimes art can be or the art route, especially creating it in a career space, I always find joy in all the little things. Like even when I was I was casted for a commercial, a random commercial for BMW Mini Cooper.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I can talk about it now. Yeah. That's the only reason why I mentioned it. But I was casted for this commercial. And I never thought I would be ever casted as a talent, as one of the actors in the commercial. I thought I was going to be an extra. But I found joy in it because I knew I was like, man, I was really intimidated. I was afraid. I was nervous because I'm usually behind the scenes. I'm the producer, scheduling things for the talents, getting them prepared, getting the whole set and the location, doing all that stuff. And then for once, I was put on the spotlight, and I was like, what do I do? Like, I'm scared. I don't know what
You're always the guy behind the camera.
Yeah, I'm always the guy behind the camera, never in front.
I feel the same way. Whenever people are like, why don't you have photos of yourself? And be like, I don't know what to do.
That's what a photographer is. But I remember when my first moment, like when I was walking in the trailer, and not too, even the experience of like going into the trailer and actually being seated, and then being the one told like, oh yeah, we're gonna do makeup for you. I'm like, I didn't know that you guys were doing makeup. And I'm like, yeah, you're the talent. Usually I'm the one like, all right, get in the trailer, like time for your makeup, like time for you to get ready. It was a whole experience. And then the other talents, like that, finding joy in that space was like, first I was really anxious, but then when the talents came in and how nice and courteous they were, and then they were like calming me down, like, don't worry, man, they casted you for a reason. You're really meant for this. It was just a nice core memory of mine, like that I could always remember the rest of my life and be like, so this is what it's like to feel this space versus like being behind the scenes or behind the camera. Um, and so that's why I always pursued like my artistic direction, like my career in art. I never wanted to do anything different because I always found joy in all the different things that I experienced in my life. Even before this, before my film stuff, before being a photographer, a filmmaker, and all that stuff, I was a dancer and I was a professional dancer that, and I traveled around the world dancing for different Asian celebrities. So it was a really great experience to be able to do all this stuff in my lifetime, and now I get to share pieces of my creativity, and the art that I want to create with you guys, the community that listen to us, because the podcast wouldn't be here without you guys listening, or like sharing your own thoughts and feedback. Um, but also with Wes, like I get to share a piece of that, where I have this partnership, this camaraderie, where I could say, man, like thank you for even taking the time out of your day, out of your week, like driving out here to come show up to my to my space, and to be able to have this conversation with you guys. It's such a humbling and amazing feeling to find this kind of happiness. Um, but I want to bring it back to you and ask you some questions, but also chat, like for you guys, how do you define happiness in your lives? Like, what is your core of your what is the core of your joy? Like, what makes you happy? How do you find joy in, like, let's say your everyday life? Um, Even if things may not be in the space that you maybe are dreaming of or want to achieve, is there some space that you guys feel like you're happy with? Or is there a space that you're wishing to seek happiness in or find happiness in? And I want to also bring that with you. Um,
Thank you for the sub.
Thank you for the sub. Gentle Dino, thank you for the sub. So she could stop seeing the ads. I'm sorry, it's not me. It's not my fault that the ads are happening. They happen just, on its own.
Well, okay. So, like, bring it back. I think that there are two different types of happiness, though. I think there's short-term happiness, but there's also long-term happiness. Short-term is when you finally reach in like a career pathway. It's like a short-term happiness is like when you finally accomplish something. Like, you finally got that promotion. You finally got that recognition. You finally got, like, maybe even a new car or something like that. But let's say down the road, you don't like that car. You're not getting recognized anymore.
Yeah.
You don't actually want your promotion that you've fought so hard for. So, like, that's why I think there's, like, a difference between, like, I think joy, let me put it this way. Joy is, like, the short-term happiness.
Yeah. Joy is a short-term happiness. And like happiness in its own foundation could be a very long-term thing. It's funny you bring up like the like finding no enjoyment, like enjoyment in like a car you buy at first, like you feel very like enthusiastic about it, and then as you continue to drive it, now there's more stress, like you got to do maintenance, you got to pay bills, to do all these things. And the very first thing I thought of was when I first got my Tesla. And then I was like, damn it. This was one of the worst investments I ever made. But in the beginning, I was like, hell yeah, I get a Tesla. I get to go vroom, like, 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds.
It's
like,
all schmuck.
yeah, I mean, I still enjoyed that car, and I will come back to you guys. Please don't, please don't blacklist me. Like Tesla, I want to come back to you guys. Please don't blacklist me.
I could never imagine spending $100,000
Yeah.
on a Model 3.
I mean, they never even had to know that, but thank you for exposing me. Like, I appreciate you exposing me that I spent that much money on a Model 3. It was a performance, okay? It was the fastest of the... At the time, too, it was...
They're like 50,000 now,
It was the worst time in the economy. I was really excited. That's why I said it. I was like...
It's 1 second shorter now than a Plaid.
Yeah, it
Model
was...
S.
Definitely, yeah, it's so funny. Tesla equals short-term happiness, long-term curse. Yes, I agree. Yeah. Someone in the chat said, I define love and kindness is happiness for me. I've been brought up in an environment filled with love. Trixia, could you explain a little bit more about that? What do you mean, like, being in an environment filled with love? Can you elaborate a little bit more, like, your experiences with love that makes you happy? Is it something like with family, friends, or just like maybe like the relationships you built around you in the space that you're in?
I think
Um,
it's also like just being accepted for who you are too.
yeah,
And I think that brings a lot of like joy and happiness because it's like you're not being judged. And especially in like today's society, like judging is like it's everywhere.
yeah.
Like I could look at you and be like, this guy's got hella puffy hair, dude. But it's nice puffy hair, right? It's like a back-ended comment.
someone someone on my Discord said you look like you got a burnt toast on top of your Dang, I'm like, dang, y'all gotta change my hairstyle.
Joy is easy, happiness is rough because even in my life with my struggles, I found the way for my happiness to not falter.
And how do you find ways to not falter with your happiness? Um, how are you, or I guess let me reword that. What are things? What are the things you're doing in your life that you're telling yourself like, okay, these are the things that can I can continue to do to allow myself to get in that state of happiness. Because to me, like my definition of happiness is like I believe happiness is a state of mind. It's not a materialistic thing. It's not something that's superficial. It's not something that is tangible. Like I can't just say like, oh, I finally got like the keys to my first home ever and now I'm happy. But I think it's the fact that I accomplished myself to like succeed and be able to afford my own home is what makes me happy. That feeling of accomplishment is what makes me happy. So that's why I always say happiness is a state of mind. But I'd love to hear more of your thoughts of what you're saying that like you found ways for you to not let anything tear you down so that you can continue to find happiness in your life. And chat along with this story of like bringing brought up in an environment filled with love. They said, I guess I'm happiest when I'm surrounded by people I care about and love. Materialistic things has never brought me joy or happiness. It's people and the connections. And again, yeah, I truly agree on that. Because you could only do so much, with certain materialistic things or superficial things until they no longer kind of give you that enjoyment or that sense of fulfillment. Because it's the same thing with like I said, like I worked so hard to get to a point in my life where I told myself, yeah, I can finally invest in a car that I know I will enjoy. But then the moment that I had it, I didn't realize all the repercussions that would come in along that. And so then I started telling myself like this isn't fun anymore. I'm not enjoying it anymore. I'm no longer happy, but I'm more stressed about it. Um
What gave you stress for it? Just because it was like it wasn't working.
yeah, like so I purchased a car and I purchased it brand new off of the website, working with like the
Advisors.
advisors and everything. Yeah, they were hyping me up. They're like, yeah, we're gonna get you a brand new car, and of course, the whole thing was a brand new vehicle, or so I thought. But I know that it wasn't like the advisor's fault that this happened with my vehicle. But upon receiving my car, a lot of technical issues started happening, and also a lot of like mechanical like hardware things. I found out that I had a default like a faulty what is it like
Motor?
yeah, a faulty motor. It was supposed to be a dual motor, but my rear motor was pushing my car more than because like the front motor stopped working. So it was no longer a dual motor. I paid for a dual motor, and then turned out it became a rear wheel drive, and
Which
it
is
was
supposed to be the cheaper one.
it was supposed to be a cheaper one, and it was draining my battery fast. I no longer was driving as fast as it should be, and plus it was very dangerous because since the front motor wasn't working, even my steering could also
be affected.
be affected and
The
stop
brakes and
working,
everything because it's all
brakes and
connected.
everything. So it really affected, and this was 2 months into me having the car. I already started having problems with it, so I found a way to, just talk legalities with people and find a way to get Tesla to pretty much cooperate with me about this car. And I no longer have it at this point, but it's that it's just those things that like sometimes you feel like you can you think that like I think like sometimes with people like especially with me like I didn't come from a place where I was well off or like I where like things were just handed to me by wealth or whatever. I had to work my way up to get to this level of success that I'm in my life now. Um, and I always used to dream that like, oh man, once I finally reach that goal of success, I'm gonna be truly happy with my life. But even to this day, like I'm in that level. What I used to wish back then is who I am today in my life now. And now that I'm in that space, I can truly admit that I'm still not happy.
You're not content.
Yeah, I'm not content. I'm not happy. Um,
That's what the chat said just now. I feel that joy is short-term happiness, but true happiness is being stable and content.
See, but being stable and content, so that's the funny thing. Like a lot of people in life will always reach for some sort of stability, whether that be financially or a relationship wise or but in truth, the moment you reach that and attain that goal, you're always going to want more after. Cuz now that I'm in that space, I'm asking myself, now what? What do I want from myself now that I'm here? And I'm realizing I'm not actually truly happy with the space I'm in because now I'm thinking I want to do things where I can share it with people, not just for myself. I want to start achieving goals in my life where I can say like, "Hey man, we did this together." And that's also why this podcast is here with me and Wes. Um uh, Chat was saying, apologies if I don't respond quickly. I'm at the airport. Dang. I appreciate the commitment of listening to this podcast. I really appreciate that. I'm just trying to support as much as I can. Brings me happiness to be able to support you guys. It brings us happiness that you're able to be here and support us while you're even at the airport.
Yeah,
Please
thank
be
you.
safe. Don't forget any of your belongings at the airport. Don't focus too much on our podcast. But yes, thank you for listening. We really appreciate that. Um, and someone else said, it's knowing that things happen for a reason and to not dwell on what's happened and focus on what is happening live in the moment and enjoy what life has for you and get it going. So that's what your answer was to I try not to let things get in the way of my happiness, even when I'm struggling in my life. So that was your response to that. And that's really great. And especially for this person that is sharing this, as I've gotten to know this person, he truly is like a very wholesome, just like you're like the Gandhi of today's generation, bro. Like people need to know you more and be friends with you because
Is
like
it hitting Gandhi?
like you
He
really
hasn't been
just
discovered yet.
yeah,
He's
like
lost in the mountains.
you just don't know like I don't think I've even there were even times where I do try to like kind of
Challenge you.
challenge him and get
Test
him
it.
get him tilted, but it just doesn't work. He'll get silent, he'll get quiet, but it's more of like, I know I'm gonna be pissed off, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm like, okay, Gandhi, like, sure, bro.
I
Like,
could do it.
yeah. I'm not in that relationship yet. I'm not in that level of relationship.
I know
with
a
him.
way to piss him off.
Yeah. But that's really awesome that you guys get to share that. But for the person that shared, I feel that joy is like short term happiness, but true happiness is being stable and content. Can you share with us a little bit about like what do you think stability is for you? Where do you find yourself or where do you see yourself in the future that you think like stability and being content in that space will make you happy? Define that for us because I want to kind of challenge that.
I think honestly being stable and content in terms of like a job, I don't think that's healthy. I think being content with your job, you should always be trying to look for something new or grow. If you're stable at a job, you're not going to get anywhere, right? Because you're content with your job and then 10 years down the road you're like, why am I not a lead? And it's just like, what did you do
I see.
to actually prove to yourself that like, you are lead material? Like no one's going to ask you or like be like an engineer or something like that, like oh, I've been working at this company for so long, why am I not like an engineer? And it's just like, did you apply? Like it being content in a career wise is never, in my opinion, good. If you are content and like you already have the money and you're just like you just want benefits from the job, then that's completely different. But for like I would say like the younger generation, when they're just like, I'm fine working at Target. Are you?
Yeah. But even that too, like,
If you're in college, you're working at Target, completely different.
Yeah.
But let's say you graduated college and you're working at like a very low paying job. Dude, what about like getting yourself a car? What about like a house someday or like even paying for your rent? Like what about like getting gifts for your family, repaying like maybe your parents like paid for college or something like that. Like what about repaying them back? right? Like I feel like if you're so content, you get stable with being like zero progression. And I think constant progression is really, really important just in life.
Um, Something I wanted to tie in, which is kind of a little bit comical, but at the same time, I find truth in it. I'm a I'm really into hip hop, and one thing that I always listen to, especially this was like a song that we also created like really awesome dance pieces to a choreography because it was just a great storytelling song. But Jay Z, when he said, "I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one," right? Like I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. Is such a crazy thing to even like tie in with this because it's not like there's so many things in life where we feel like okay once I get there, oh once I have my own car, like I'm gonna be happy with my life. Once I get my apartment that I really like, I'm gonna be happy with my life. But you don't think about the steps after. You get your car, you still have bills to pay unless you pay it in full, which I did, but I was still a fool for doing it. But I hated myself for doing it. I wasn't happy after I did it. Right? There's still
But
the
it happens
problem.
for a reason.
But it happens for a
Like
reason.
Chad was saying, it happens for a reason. You learn from it.
Uh, and then I live in an apartment that I'm very comfortable in, and I say I'm really blessed to have. But the bills are considerably like expensive, and it's just ridiculous to think about how much money I'm losing off of an apartment when I could have a home. But then now I'm looking in comparison to that. If I have a home, I have other fees to pay: property taxes, HOA fees, land, like all these other things, and maintenance that you no longer get from being in an apartment that's already given to you. So all these other things. Um, so for people that feel like, oh, the moment I find stability in my life, that's when I'll be happy. I want to bring it back again. Like I hope you guys can respond. What is stability to you? What define what you feel like will be some place that you can feel stable in.
And content.
And that song they say like, oh, but a bitch ain't one is like because I'm not gonna let a girl like get me tilted, or I'm not gonna let a woman like be the cause of my problems because I want to be with a woman that will continue to make me happy, not make me mad or upset or whatever, right? Um, but Chad is asking, is there anything you guys actively do to pursue maintain your happiness? Um, yeah, that's a good question. What about you? Do you have an answer to that? I gotta think about that real quick. I feel like I'm being put in an interview.
Um, I think just changed my lifestyle up. Like this year, like I really took like working out at the gym like really seriously. I took my job a little bit more seriously in terms of getting in depth with my management role, and the associates that I work with. Um, I got a dog. Um, I think just changing my lifestyle up. I think changing every year, changing your lifestyle up, I think really kind of like maintains it's that the short term joy, really. Because I don't think I'll ever be content, but I don't think I want to specifically be content, right? I'm content with my girlfriend,
Yeah.
I would say. Am I content with my dog? No. But that takes training, right? So I mean, it's constantly like maintaining like a constant growth aspect.
Someone had said their way of maintaining happiness is playing sports, certain video games, hitting the gym recently, and chilling with the fam is like what maintains their happiness. I like to keep myself busy and doing things. For me, that question I think really resonates with me. I had to think about it real quick because my entire life, I can truly, sincerely say, has always been about the pursuit of happiness for others. That's kind of sad to actually admit. It's funny, ironic. We're talking about happiness, but I feel a little bit of sadness about it because I've always lived my life in the thought of what can I do more for others, especially for my family members. Because again, I came from a place where I know what struggling was like. I know how hard life can be when you don't have certain things like financial stability or things that you can just provide for people, including your own siblings or your own parents, especially for a lot of the things that your parents work so hard for. so that you can be successful in your life. And even to this day, like my art has always been about seeking happiness for others, because I tell myself the only reason I've succeeded in my life and got to this place was because of all the people that have helped me. I live with this quote that goes, I am a part of all that I have met. And that really means, I wouldn't be who I am today without the people that have brought me here. And that's why I want to truly like go full time and full send with content creation and be in the streaming community, because I realize in the streaming community, the only way a streamer can become successful is by the support of his viewers and the community that he builds. And the only way you can define your success in streaming is how well you can keep your community stable and there for you to constantly support you and support each other. And that's the challenge I'm taking on with this streaming, because that's what it is. Like to me, I find so much happiness in knowing that I can make people laugh in my community. I can make people find entertainment in watching me look like a fool playing video games, whether I'm losing or winning. I tell myself it's okay. It's all for the fun of it. At the end of the day, the people watching me is what they want to see. They're enjoying that. Um, and even this, like this podcast, I told Wes, like if you go 100% with me on this, I assure you that I will give you 10 times more in return, with the success that we can achieve with this. And everything that I've done, even with film production and dancing, like that's the reason why I pursued dancing first when I was growing up. I wanted to be a dancer because I wanted to be an entertainer. I wanted to be on stage to show people how you can just have fun with life through dance. And people enjoyed watching people like perform, and that was a piece of me that I found happiness in. So now, like to me, like, am I actively pursuing anything in my life to maintain happiness? I am. It's my streaming career. Like me streaming every day, despite how exhausting it can be, um, is a piece. Thank you for the subs and follow. I appreciate whoever. Oh, the gifted sub to Nesquik. Thank you for that. But yeah, like even that, like the streaming space, I actually even want to bring that back up to yeah, W's in the chat, guys. W's in the chat. No more ads. No more ads for Nesquik. Yeah. Um
No more ads.
W's in the chat. But I want to bring it back to that, like even finding stability or content, right? Like you were saying this, like unless you were like if you're younger and you're pursuing things like in a very minimal space, like in the short term wise, like trying to get a job while going to school. So like being in Target or whatever, like there's nothing wrong with that. Being in fast food or retail or anything like that, there's nothing wrong with that. It actually gives you a lot of life skills. Like
Yeah.
it teaches you a lot of life skills to be in these spaces. Like I want to go off tangent a little bit off this, but not too off tangent. But if I were to be president of the United States, I would make it a mandatory thing for every teenager the moment they hit 17 to be forced to work in a retail space. I really believe that this should be like like a necessity to do, because it teaches people life skills and manners. It teaches them like how to be respectful towards other people. Like if you've never worked in a retail space before,
Or you'll get fired.
or you'll get fired, right? Like if you don't have like manners or respect towards people. Customer service is I would say the hardest space to ever be involved in, because it really allows you to identify yourself as a person, how patient you can be, how kind you can be, what you like or dislike. Those are the things that you learn. It's a life lesson, like it's life skills. Um, but like if people, like even the younger kids, the younger generation nowadays, a lot of younger generation want to be content creators. They want to get into the space of streaming right away.
They don't want to work.
They don't wanna work.
They don't want to do manual labor.
Yeah, they don't want to be in the workforce. They don't want a 9 to 5 job. They don't want to be in the corporate offices anymore. They're finally rebelling and saying like there are other opportunities to be able to find success in different spaces and happiness in different spaces. But I'm gonna tell you this now. Just because a lot of people are making a lot of money in streaming or content creation, it doesn't mean that everyone can also achieve that space. And I'm not trying to discourage people to not do it, but I want people to come in with the intention that things are still going to be difficult. Because even for me, as much as I've been involved in the entertainment industry, I have not once utilized my network to take advantage of my streaming career, to utilize that to my streaming career and be like, hey, boost me up, get me my views, get me my community, get me my viewers, get me all this stuff. I've not used that, but it's also because I know streaming is also a very difficult space to be involved with, and there's a lot of organic things that you have to start with, and that starts with building the relationships with your community. And that to me is my active pursuit of happiness. When my community is happy on Discord, when the people that come and join my view, like my YouTube and my Twitch, and they're watching me and they're having fun and they want to see me lose, like someone said on the chat, I don't mind that. I don't mind that you want to see me losing these games. But I find that it's also fun to challenge myself to not be losing in the games, because if I win, then that also makes you think like, man, I was hoping that you're gonna lose that one. But it's a fun kind of like back and forth and banter with each other. um but yeah, like that was a great question. Still waiting for the day you punch your monitor. Oh man, it'll happen. Yeah, I think a few more games of Valorant and I think it'll happen, man.
Just make sure you punch that one.
I'll punch the one that I'm actually not turning on all the time. So, but for the chat, like, are there things that you guys are actively pursuing in your life to find happiness in, or to maintain your happiness if you are already happy with your life? I know there are some people that are like participating, but like I punch the camera too. I want to feel. I want to feel it.
Pull a Muda.
How about you? Actually, I wanna bring this question up to you, Nesquick. Is there anything in your life that you're actively pursuing to make you or keep you in that space of happiness? Are you currently happy with where you are today? And if not, it's totally okay. You don't have to share anything personal, but I just want to know from your perspective, like, is there anything that you're actively pursuing to find that state of happiness?
A pantry full of snacks.
Honestly,
Hey, people find happiness in food, man. I find happiness in food.
food, I think we actually talked about this with cultural differences, which one of our podcast topics. Um, Food is a love language.
It is.
It's everyone's universal love language that anyone can understand. And bro, if you have a pantry full of snacks or just a place,
Who filled up the pantry though?
yeah, yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Your family did. So that's a show of love because it's still sharing the food
Yeah.
with you.
I'm saying to go ham though, but I do love my snacks. I'm looking at. I'm looking at.
I'm the snack.
Oh my. Wait, I'm kind of jealous. What the heck? Wait, hold up. What about me?
Damn, he
Like,
did his hair and everything, bro.
For
Oh wait.
real, like, I did-
Oh wait, it's the burnt toast.
Yeah, it's the burnt toast. It's not my hair. It's just a burnt toast. JJ, if you're on here, I'm gonna call you out for saying that my hair looks like a burnt toast.
She's the one that said that.
Yeah, JJ.
Damn.
Because we were roasting each other. We are going back and forth with the roast.
What's got that aura? Eat good, play games, spend time with my family and boyfriend's family, stay up late with boyfriend watching movies. For
Okay.
real. Yeah, I mean, hey, that's quality time. That's a love language also.
Quality time, yeah, those are like, yeah, quality time is a state of happiness. Playing video games with you guys, like some of you guys that are watching this, it's my state of happiness. And doing well at your job. Yeah, like I'm glad that you guys are finding happiness in these spaces. And I'm glad that you have your own definition of like what is happiness to you. Because there are moments where when we play video games with some of the people watching this right now, there are moments where we get tilted or we get upset or irritated or whatever. And I feel like that's kind of like what families go through, right? Like sibling rivalry, for example, like when you and your siblings are fighting with each other, at the end of the day, like there's no way of getting away from each other or running away because you guys are family for the rest of your lives. I think with me and like my community, with my Discord or like even the people I'm building like this camaraderie with in streaming, when I get to play games with you guys and then like things don't go the way we want it to be, at the end of it, I tell myself like, man, but we built something there. Like we got to learn about each other's like do's and don'ts. How well someone plays or how well or like how horrible you guys
Did you
play, and
wanna
how I have to carry you guys sometimes, you know, and just my shoulders are getting kind of heavy because I'm
My back hurts, man.
carrying so much weight, you know, on my shoulders. No, but that really, even that, like,
Do you give good shoulder rides?
I've never tried. I've never had someone ask me to carry them
Did
on
you
their
have
shoulder.
you gone to raves?
No, I've never done raves before. Remember?
Ever?
Yeah, but I'm a hip hop
Oh
person.
my god!
I told you I've never experienced EDC, none of that. Like,
go to Porter. Come
not
to
even
Porter.
like shows, like not
go,
even.
go
Yeah.
go get a lawn ticket for Porter.
But that's like coming up soon, right? Like,
Yeah, they're still available. Let's
But
go.
you guys are gonna be at Disneyland.
No, I'm going to Porter.
Oh shoot, that's like, wasn't that like next week or 2 weeks?
That's 2 weeks from now.
Yeah. Well, maybe yeah. Maybe I'm. Are you gonna?
It's a Friday night.
Are you telling me I'm gonna be on your shoulder then? Like
I
you're
would
gonna,
probably be able to carry you. I don't think you can.
Yeah, I
carry
can't carry you.
Unless you all of a sudden start squatting
yeah.
at the gym.
Yeah, bro. My weakest thing at the gym is my legs for sure. Like I'd be passing out doing like squats and stuff. So, but yeah, man. Like again, even the camaraderie, like with the gaming and stuff, because I get to learn like the do's and don'ts with people, and I even get to sense like when people are getting irritated or like getting annoyed or whatever. Like that's a piece of me. I'm like, all right, I'm starting to understand how people play or what they do like or don't like, and that's a piece of me that I like about that. Yo, hope y'all have a good chats, good vibes. Gotta go help my mom make dinner. Hey man, thanks for sharing your thoughts and your like your stories and stuff too.
Let him
and
cook. Let him cook.
I hope you guys have a good dinner, and thank you for participating in this and listening to our chat, man. I really appreciate it.
Damn,
I
he
mean,
knows how to cook too.
yeah, and he can cook.
You calling me a snack, dude?
Uh,
Look at yourself in the mirror, bro.
Someone in the chat's asking us what's the weight difference between each other. I'm 142.
I'm like 170.
God, 30 pounds, that's not bad. Actually, I think I can. Oh, wait, that's 170 you have to carry. I'm like doing the math. The math ain't mathing. I'm like, I have to only carry 30 pounds. No, I have to carry.
I actually haven't weighed myself. That was before like I was like really like bulking at the gym.
Oh my gosh.
It was 170 before. But it could just be muscle weight now. Just converting.
Tostadas for dinner? I thought you said tortas for dinner, bro. I was like- Tostadas for dinner.
Órale,
Órale,
tostada,
tostadas,
güey.
güey. We totally just have to read that out loud. That's so-
Tostadas, güey.
Tostadas, güey. That's so funny. Hey man, enjoy that dinner, man. That sounds delicious, to be honest, dude. I wish I could come over to your home, bro, and get some homemade tamales. I still have yet to experience homemade tamales during the holidays.
You've never had homemade
I've
tamales?
never had homemade tamales ever in my life to
Bro,
experience
Fierce
during the
could
holidays.
probably share some with you.
That's why I'm saying, like, now that I got a homemade.
We have so many Mexican friends and none of them want to make tamales for us. Just think about that.
Chat.
Sus, you want to come over?
That's because it's sus. You want to come over? Shut up! Don't act like you're a stranger. You're making me look sus, bro. But chicken tamales we making next month. Yeah, bro, it's already next month. I forgot. I'm so excited because I have yet to experience homemade tamales.
They're so good.
Like
Everyone's got a different recipe. Like
all my Hispanic friends all the time hype it up, and I'm like, yo, then give me some. Like, like I don't want to be hella rude and be like, yo, like you need to make me some. Like, but you know, I just want someone to offer me it sometimes. But yeah.
This is what you do. You just plant it in their brain throughout the whole entire year,
Yeah.
and then just be like, "What am I?"
Yeah, like, hey, bro, like I thought we were homies. We're fam now, right? Like, the best way is to make them, freeze them, and then warm it up.
Oh yeah.
Well, okay, is it like what? Like, okay, I don't understand it because, like, to me, like the logic with me freezing food is like, it makes it worse sometimes.
No, but the tamale wrap, like the what is it, corn husk or something like that? It keeps its like hold, and then when you heat it up with the wrap still, then it heats inside.
Because I was gonna ask, is it like
and
you
it
know
gets
how
all
like?
steamy.
Because I was gonna ask, is it like you know how like back then Pop-Tarts people would freeze the Pop-Tarts and then eat it frozen and it like tastes better or something. I was like,
that a
I was
thing?
gonna compare it to that. Yeah, it was.
Oh, I was right. It was a corn husk.
Yeah, corn. Yeah, people used to do that, and they're actually Pop-Tarts. The company Pop, totally off tangent, but it's a piece of our happiness. Pop-Tarts back then, like they made specific Pop-Tarts that you actually had to put in the freezer, so that like it tasted different. It tasted better. It's
Really?
crazy. Yeah, it is interesting. It was
Well, it's
interesting.
like putting like chocolate in the freezer, and then the chocolate gets even harder.
Yeah,
and it's like it's
chocolate-
still already hard.
Yeah.
Unless it's melted.
Or like
and hot.
frozen fruits and stuff. Don't try the tamales from Trader Joe's. It's not. Yeah, I never. To be honest with you, and to each their own. I'm not knocking anybody that shops at Trader Joe's, but I
They're
can't.
enchiladas though.
I can't see myself going to Trader Joe's and getting like those frozen foods and like buying that and heating it up. I will go to Trader Joe's though for like their mochi ice cream or any other ice cream.
What about their Asian foods?
Their almond butters. Yeah, I can't do the Asian foods.
You
either.
can't do the broccoli beef?
Nah, man.
The Kung Pao chicken?
Nah, I don't do any of that.
I don't
stuff.
like their orange chicken, but the Kung Pao chicken's pretty fire.
I'll go for their almond butter. I'll go for like.
Bulgogi?
I've never.
What?
I'll go to H Mart for bulgogi, bro.
Okay, yeah.
I'll go to H Mart for bulgogi.
H Mart's a little far for me.
Yeah. Banana leaves in replacement of corn husks for pasteles. Pasteles.
Pasteles?
Pasteles?
Pasteles? Look at us trying to speak Spanish.
What are pasteles? Also, pasteles is Puerto Rican tamales. Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, yeah, because you're Puerto Rican.
See, that sounds like happiness to me, bro. Like, if I could have that, that'd be crazy. Random question. I mean, our podcast is actually about to end in 3 minutes. But random question to Fears. I kind of lost my question actually. It was something about the pasteles, but I didn't want to go too off tangent about it. But
Do you cook it for Christmas,
Oh,
or is there
actually-
like a Puerto Rican holiday that you make
yeah,
it for?
yeah. It's like, why is it that tamales is only like a holiday thing for Hispanics? Like, I feel like a lot of my Hispanic friends would say like, yeah, tamales, like we do it during the holidays. Why can't you
We
just like
randomly make them. So it's not a holiday thing.
So what about tamales? Why is that a holiday thing? Like, when did that ever start? Like, to be a holiday thing? Is it because it's hard to make? There's a lot of effort to do, like, to put.
Probably.
to be
It
able
is
to
a lot
make
of work.
tamales?
I think my family made tamales one time, and it was like 6 hours worth of work, because we like our own food better.
But that doesn't really answer.
You can make your own food throughout the year.
Yeah, that's what
it
I'm
doesn't
saying.
have
Like,
to be a holiday.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, why can't you make tamales like even like on a summertime?
On a Sunday.
Why can't it be like what? Yeah, why does it have to be like during Thanksgiving or Christmas or something?
Our family makes 1 ton for Christmas.
Oh yeah, that's a cultural thing though. Like,
yeah,
traditionally,
like all
like,
of us get together, we're all around the table,
Yeah.
and we just start rapping.
Yeah, it's like a family like gathering tradition. Like, that just happens culturally because we make them in batches. Oh, so it does take a lot of
Tamales are best for events.
I see. It's like
they could be best for your just
Monday,
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Someone in the chat said, I don't think it's holiday. It's a holiday thing. It's just a seasonal thing. So it's like whenever it's best for like certain events. Okay, that makes sense. It's kind of like a rewards system thing. Like,
It's like a reward.
you feel rewarded. Yeah, you feel rewarded like when you get to eat tamales. Cause like, to me, like in Filipino culture, like lumpia, like we just make that whenever we want to. But definitely when we host parties, hands down, you'll always see lumpia on the table. Parties, holidays, whatever it be, like if there's a celebration, lumpia will be there.
How hard is it to make lumpia?
It's also takes a lot of time because like
You gotta wrap it.
you gotta wrap it, you gotta make
The
with
mix.
the ground beef, you gotta mix it together. Sometimes with ground pork, you make the mix, you chop up the vegetables, and then you that time it's like wontons. It takes like a family gathering to like make it. At least 3 dozen is our smallest batch we make. That's crazy.
Smallest?
3 dozen. That's a lot.
He does have a big family though.
Lumpia is a great way to bond with your family. Yeah. Filipinos like wontons is lumpia to us. Like the way Chinese people make wontons as a like traditional thing as a family gathering thing, is what Filipinos do to gather, have an excuse to get together, or have our parents force us to do something that we don't want to do sometimes, which is
That is one thing
Yeah.
I wish I was like Vietnamese at times, because they make spring rolls.
spring
with
rolls
like
are
the rice
amazing.
paper.
I remember I was invited to one not my ex, but not my Vietnamese ex. No, she's toxic. But
She was Viet.
yeah, the one that
Oh, you shot yourself in the foot.
yeah,
with
the
that
one that cheated on me. Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah. Not all Vietnamese women are toxic, but that one was particularly toxic.
It's a good amount of them.
Nah, so random all tangent thing, but my Vietnamese friend invited us during the holidays one time, and we made spring rolls, and she taught us how to make spring rolls, and it was just a nice like kind of feeling.
It's really good.
Oh my gosh, someone is saying LOL because he knows about my past, about that toxic ex. That's so funny.
Especially making it. I remember my grandma teaching me. Don't get me wrong, I hated making them law, but I appreciate it now.
Yeah.
It's definitely an adult thing. Like when you grow up, you like appreciate it and you realize how much love is put into food.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Yeah, making lumpia back. That's why I said earlier, like, sometimes it's a way for our parents to force us to do something we don't want to do, which is making lumpia, because it was so time consuming. And sometimes we would be doing it until like 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, just to prep it and get it ready and be done, so that the next day we would just fry it and get it set.
It's definitely in batches for
Yeah,
for that.
yeah, we had to make batches, but because lumpia could go, man, it goes out fast. Like we can make probably
3 trays worth.
I would say like 500 pieces could go away in 1 hour. 500 pieces can go away in
This is
1 hour.
so good.
And so now Filipinos would cheat the system, so they would make 500 long pieces but cut it in half. So now they have 1,000 pieces.
Damn.
Yeah, so that's how we would cheat.
Have you tried the lumpia that's at Costco?
I have, yeah.
It's
See,
like
that I could
it's
do.
not like legit lumpia, but it's still like
It's
this
decent.
is pretty good.
It's decent. It gets there. Yeah. I'll eat 75% of those. Yeah, no, hands down, we would too. Oh, one time. See, and this is why I love like those gatherings, like just those moments where we can gather. A core memory of mine when I was making lumpia with my siblings, and my parents, when we were younger, my oldest brother would make one roll. It would be like Russian roulette. He would make one roll just full of wasabi, no meat in it. It would be literally a lumpia roll of just wasabi, and then he would mix it in the batches of all the other
So
lumpia.
then one person would randomly get it.
One person would randomly get just a freaking bite of just whole wasabi in their mouth. And then I
I
remember.
would still eat it though.
No, bro, it was crazy. No, you wouldn't, bro. The next
You
day,
dip it in some chili sauce.
we're frying all those lumpias, right? And I'm like over here, I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna try one of the lumpias, and just a taste test. I just so happened to be the most unfortunate one. I took both of the pieces with wasabi. Like,
Karma.
out of 1,000 pieces, I ended up getting
could've
both
just
of the
wait for
pieces.
dinner?
Bro, I was crying so bad. It was
Clear up your nasal passages though.
dude, it was horrible. Cause imagine you're just so ready to get like a piece of lumpia, but then you end up just eating wasabi.
That's because we start eating it at the moment it's cooked. So even before it's served, 50 is already eaten. That's so true.
That's so true. That's
literally
exactly what
literally.
it was like with lumpia.
My grandma made 400 for my birthday party of 35 people, and everybody ate them quick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because 50, that's like one each, or no, like one and a
yeah,
half each.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah.
People want at least 6.
Even in your
People
birthday
want
party,
6.
it probably like lasted for like 30 minutes or so, and your grandma was constantly on the freaking fryer making more because it just kept going. Skill issue. Someone said skill issue. Why I ended up getting the wasabi. Yeah. To be honest, I was the most unfortunate. Like out of all the 1,000 the pieces, I ended up getting the wasabi ones. That's horrible.
It's good I only ate one of the lumpia though at that party.
But oh dang, you only ate one? Dang.
Well, I mean, there was only enough for 1.5.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Technically.
But yeah, see, even those things like food. It's so funny that we ended it with like food, right? Is a piece of like happiness in our lives, because it creates those memories too, right? Like it creates those core memories in our lives that we can always remember and look back on. Whenever even things get tough in our lives, we could always be like, food is comfort, but also like the memories we make with food is what makes us happy. And we want to end it here. It's 9:00. We just want to say thank you so much, guys, for always being here, supporting us on Thursdays, listening to our podcasts, listening to our rants and banters. Sometimes our yapping. Sometimes when it's very nonsensical and doesn't make sense at all. Like it's just fun being able to interact with you guys too, and just hear your stories and share our stories with you. So thank you for being here. We hope that you guys, listen in and chime in again next week. Are we gonna have something next? Are you gonna be able to do something next week, or should we call it off for now? Or okay,
We'll announce it later.
We'll announce it
I'm
throughout-
pretty sure there will be, but we'll announce it.
yeah. As the weeks go by, within the next couple of days, we'll announce if we will have something next Thursday. I know it's just because we have the holidays are coming in, and on this upcoming Thursday, I have an event to attend to. But we'll see if Wes can still put on a podcast and maybe have a guest to show up. But dang, 400. She did the math. 400 out of 35 divided by 35 is 11 pieces per person. Yeah, 11 pieces is not enough for one person though, to be honest.
Wait, I completely did the math wrong. I did not read
Yeah.
400. I read 50.
Yeah.
I read 50 pieces, not 400.
Oh yeah, because
Am I dyslexic?
no, because you read the 50 above the comment that said 50.
Oh.
Yeah. 400 was on the we read the.
I need at least 50. That's facts, dude.
Yeah, I need at least 50. Because technically, if you cut it in half, that's just one whole piece. So 50 is actually 25 if you think about it. So you only got 25 pieces at the end of it. But again, guys, thank you for being here. We really appreciate you guys listening on our podcast. I hope you got to enjoy this special episode about finding your happiness or identifying what your happiness is to you. And I hope you can continue to seek for that happiness if you are, still striving for that space in your life. Or I hope you can contain or maintain that happiness in your life if you're already in that space. I love how this ended up in lumpia talk. Hey, that's true happiness,
It's part of happiness right there.
Lumpia, spring rolls,
What's the core of your
wontons,
joy?
tamales,
Lumpia.
tamales, wontons. Yeah, but we will update you guys and let you know if we will have an episode next week, just because there are certain events that we have to attend to, or if we might be able to bring a guest, and so Wes can share a topic with that guest. But thank you again so much. We really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the new followers, the new viewers. During this birthday week streams that I've been doing, I really appreciate you guys for everything that you've been doing for me and supporting me. And I hope to really see you guys again soon. Bye. Invite me in your podcast. Yes. No, we really want to actually hear. We would love to have you in one of our podcasts. Actually, even be able to share a story. And we'll talk about a topic that maybe we can, share together. Wes and I have been thinking about inviting you specifically on these podcasts. So, Trixie L, will definitely message you. Thank you, Trixie, for being here too, especially being busy at the airport. Whatever you're doing, if you're with your family, enjoy your day. Everyone else, enjoy your night and your days, because I know some people there in Southeast Asia are listening in. So I appreciate you guys. And yes, definitely, Black Chaos. Yeah, we'll talk about this off stream. So thank you guys. Have a good night. We appreciate you guys, and this is our outro. Peace out, guys.